Have you ever asked yourself, am I creating the life that I really want? Or am I just reacting to things that are around me? Reacting to my calendar or the bills that come in, my work, my family needs, or the stress. Then one day you wake up and think, wait, how did I even get here? Like, this isn't the life that I meant to create. If that feels familiar, today's episode is for you because I want to talk about the difference between living in reaction and living in creation. And that one shift can change the way that you experience your life completely. Hi there, welcome back to You Can Emerge Positive. I'm Deanne, and I work with women who are in midlife and show them it's not too late and show them the pathway to creating the life that they feel great in with clarity and confidence and purpose. Today, I want to talk about something that came up for me around my birthday earlier this month. I've always seen my birthday as kind of like a personal new year. Maybe you can relate to this. I know, some people make resolutions in January. I know a lot of people make resolutions in January, but for me, my birthday always brings reflection. It makes me pause and ask, where am I? Where have I been? Where am I going? And what do I want this year around the sun to feel like? And this year, that reflection felt especially strong because the past several years have been really challenging. And for me personally, they've been some of the hardest years of my life. The challenges have kind of crossed every area of my life as well: health, family, career, finances, and also my friendships. It's been hard. And I don't say that dramatically. I say honestly, because sometimes we need to tell the truth about what we've been carrying before we can decide what we're going to create next. So as my birthday approached, I felt this deep desire to kind of turn the ship around, if you will. I wanted clarity. I wanted a reset. And I wanted to feel like I was moving in an intentional new direction, not just surviving the life that where life had been taking me. I was on autopilot a bit instead of being in an intentional creation mode. And to make things more complicated, I've been sick, which really, really takes me down. And so by the time July arrived, I remembered feeling like, okay, enough. I am ready to feel better. I'm ready to take care of myself. And I am ready to point my life in a more joyful direction. And that's when I made a decision. Self-care had to become my number one priority. Not because I had suddenly become selfish or not because everything in my life had stopped mattering, but because I realized I could not keep trying to build a better life from an exhausted, depleted, and disconnected version of myself. Can you relate? And I think so many people in midlife are doing exactly that. We're trying to improve our health while ignoring our bodies. We're trying to improve our relationships while running on empty. And we're trying to find purpose while never giving ourselves the quiet space to hear our own thoughts. We're trying to create a next chapter while living completely in reaction to the current one. And eventually, something inside us always says, this isn't working anymore. That's why I wanted to bring this to you today. Are you living in reaction or are you living in creation? Because there's a big difference. When we live in reaction, we're mostly responding to what's right in front of us: the email, the problem, the text message, the family need, the bad news, the thing that didn't go as planned. And of course, life requires us to respond. We can't ignore reality. But when our entire life is built around reaction, we lose our sense of direction. We start to feel like we're just floating down the river with no oar, no map, and no destination. We're busy, we're handling things, we're just getting through the day, but we're not intentionally asking, what do I want this season of my life to feel like? What kind of woman am I becoming? And do I want to become? What do I need more of? What do I need less of? What would support my peace? And what would restore my energy? What would help me feel alive again? Creation begins when we stop letting life just happen to us and start participating in the direction of our own lives. And that doesn't mean we can control everything because we can't, but we can choose how we build our foundation. So here's what I'm learning more and more. We cannot live a truly happy, grounded life if we are in constant reaction to everything that's happening around us. It will wear us down because life is always going to bring storms. Sometimes that's a health issue, a job loss, divorce, the death of someone we love, financial stress, family situations. Sometimes it's the quiet grief of just realizing that life doesn't look like the way we planned. And when those storms come, we need a foundation strong enough to hold us. That foundation is not perfection. I know that very well. It is definitely not perfection. It is not having all the answers. It's not pretending to be positive all the time. That foundation is self-love. Now, I know self-love sounds like a soft phrase, but I don't think of it as soft at all. Self-love is how you stop abandoning yourself. Self-love is how you begin listening to your body, how you choose rest before you have resentment. Self-love is how you keep promises to yourself and how you stop waiting for permission to care for your own life. Women, we all seem to be doing that, especially at this time in our life. We do not need to wait for permission. We can make the choice here and now. And when you build that kind of foundation, you become steadier. Not because life gets easier, but because you're no longer completely dependent on everything around you to be calm in order for you to feel okay. And that is powerful. Now, I want to be really clear. When I say build a foundation of self-love, I'm not talking about overhauling your life overnight. That's usually where we get ourselves in trouble. We make it way too big, and then we decide we're going to change everything all at once. The workout plan and the food and the finances, your morning routine, you know it. Like we just dive right in. But then we get completely overwhelmed and we quit. So don't make it complicated. Start small. Baby steps count. In fact, baby steps are often what creates lasting change. So maybe self-love looks like just going to bed a little earlier or drinking some water before you have coffee. Maybe it looks like reading or listening to something uplifting before you start scrolling on social media. Or taking 5 deep breaths before your day begins so that you can be centered and calm. Or maybe it's a walk outside, eating foods that feel good, spending time with people who energize you instead of draining you. Maybe it looks like exercising 3 times a week in a way you actually enjoy. And that part matters. This should not feel like a punishment. It should feel like support. If it feels like work or pressure or another way to beat yourself up, then pause and ask yourself, how can I make this feel more loving? Because self-love is not another performance. It's not another checklist. It's a way of coming back to yourself. For me, that reset started with daily movement, stretching, reading, meditation, journaling, and being much more intentional about what I was eating and how I was caring for my body. And I know that may sound like a lot. It's kind of a long list, but here's the surprising part. It didn't feel like punishment. It actually felt peaceful. It felt good. I felt like I was finally giving myself what I had been needing. And within just a few days, I started to feel better. Not because every problem in my life just was like poof and gone, no, but because I had changed my relationship with me. I was no longer waiting for life to calm down before I took care of myself. I was taking care of me in the middle of life. And that is a big difference. Because the minute you decide to improve your life and take even one small action toward it, you begin to feel better about yourself. You start to feel a little more capable, a little more hopeful, maybe more grounded, a little more in partnership with your own life. And that is living in creation. There's a book that I've loved for years called Simple Abundance. It was written by Sarah Ban Breathnach. It's about 20 years ago. I still today read it daily. It's a daily, like 360 a day, read a book day, not read a book, but read an entry a day. And it is my mental primer for the day. It's how I start my morning routine every single day. And I've been reading this book now for about 15 years. And around the time that I was reading this, this passage came across called "The Good Life," written by Helen Nearing. This was inside Simple Abundance. Now, Helen was 91 when she wrote this. And what I love about it is how simple it is and how timeless it is. It's not complicated. And this is what she wrote. This is what she called living the good life. Do the best you can. Be at peace with yourself. Find work that you enjoy. Live simply. Spend time in nature. Move your body. Don't worry so much. Live one day at a time. Share something with someone else. Take time to wonder at life. See humor where you can and be kind. Isn't that beautiful? I love it. It's such a reminder that the good life just may be more simpler than we think. We keep looking for something that is big and dramatic, but often the answer is found in the way that we live our ordinary lives, just a regular day, how we begin the morning, how we speak to ourselves, how we care for our body, how we connect with nature, how we choose what we consume, and how we show kindness. The good life is not something that we stumble into. It's something we create, one choice at a time. This is one of the reasons why I love the conversations that we're having inside Beyond by Emerge Positive, because what I keep hearing from the members, the women that are part of this amazing community, are that they don't need more pressure. They don't need another place where they feel like they're behind. They need a space that helps them come back to themselves. They need reminders that their dreams still matter and encouragement to take small, doable steps. And I'll tell you, it's amazing to see the shift that's happening with each and every person that's there. One woman said, I finally feel like I'm making myself a priority again. Another said, I didn't realize how much I actually needed this kind of support. And the third said, I'm starting to think about what I actually want. It's not a sales pitch. It's truly just the work, because Beyond is not about creating a perfect life. It's about learning how to stop living only in reaction and start creating with more clarity and support and self-love. And I think that's what so many people, specifically women, are craving right now. Not a complete life overhaul, just a place to begin again, a place to remember I matter too. So today I want to leave you with a simple reflection. Ask yourself, where in my life am I mostly living in reaction? And where am I being invited to create? Maybe you're reacting to stress in your body. You're being invited to better health. Maybe if you're reacting to everyone else's needs, maybe you're being invited to create stronger boundaries. If you're reacting to fear, maybe you're being invited to create faith. If you're reacting to the past and maybe you're being invited to create a new story. You don't have to change everything today. Just choose one small thing, one loving action, one step that says, I'm participating in my life again, and I'm creating it in the way that I want. So if you've been feeling like life is pulling you in every direction, pause and ask yourself, am I living in reaction or am I living in creation? And then come back to the simplest truth. You can begin again. You can build a stronger foundation. You can choose self-love. You can take one small step toward the life that you actually want to be living in. Not someday, today. Because the good life isn't about being perfect. It's about being present. It's about being intentional. about being kind to yourself and choosing again and again to participate in the direction of your life. If this episode resonated for you, I would love for you to share it with somebody who could really, really benefit from hearing the message. And if you're in a season where you're ready to stop living in reaction and start designing your next life chapter, come join us in Beyond by Emerge Positive. I put the link below. There's information on the website and check it out. Come join us. You will not be disappointed, I promise you. And if you're just looking for something really small to start off with that a group sounds overwhelming, then try my free PDF called The Reset. It's also on emergepositive.com, but I will put the link below for that as well, just to make it easy. It's a free downloadable PDF that will help you create a morning that is calm and clear for you each day. You will love it. So until next time, remember, you're not here simply to react to life. You're here to create it. You can. Emerge positive. See you next week.